Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is Viewtiful Linker Joe bringing you another video. I'm actually going to make another installment to my Cart 5 Vanguard Nation Breakdown video. I know it's been a while since I made this video. Last time I did this, we did, I believe, Neonectars from the Zoo Nation, so we're going to continue on from that. And this time I'm going to do Megacolonies. Megacolony coming from Zoo Nation, and this time I actually have my computer here so that I can tell you a little bit more more accurate description of what Megacolonies actually do. So I'm going to try and make this brief, because I do have a deck I do have my personal deck profile of Megacolonies after I do a little description of what they do. So let's get right into it. Megacolonies are one of the sort of oddballs in Vanguard right now. They have no support coming out until set 15 that was recently leaked. I want to say a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago or so, and fucking amazing, man. They get a new brake ride, they get a new grade 3 machining thing. Oh, it's a bunch of cool stuff. They get new triggers, they get new clones of other stuff that other clans have, and I'm looking forward to the support. Let's put it that way, because I liked Megacolonies when they were first sort of introduced, because they were different. And oh, I know you guys are saying Link Joker do it better. Link Joker are completely different. They are not the same. Megacolony do their thing. Link Joker do their thing. They're not at all related or whatever, because everyone's going to be jumping on the hype for Link Joker, whatever. I'm going to be here laughing at you guys because I like my Megacolonies. Anyway, let's get into it. Here I'm looking at the wiki, the Cardfight Vanguard wiki for Megacolonies, and this is basically what they do, what they are. Megacolony, it is a crime syndicate made entirely of sentient insects, or insectoids, if you want to think of it that way. Yeah, Megacolony is literally nothing but bugs, and their skills revolve around making the opponent's attacks weaker in order to guard less, mainly by preventing your opponent's units from standing, which prevents them to boost or attack. They also have a few skills that retire the opponent's grade 1 rear guards to further reduce their boosting capabilities. Now, what that basically means is Megacolonies force you to not stand. Now, their skills tend to be a little bit counterblast heavy. A lot of them are Counterblast 2, Counterblast 3. Now, with that, I hope with new support they get a damage on Flipper in set 15, and I hope they do, because I know for a fact they're coming up with more machining support, and I kind of don't want to jump on the bus for another archetype. I already have Musketeers, and I don't want to get into the other stuff. Anyway, I hope they come up with more basic support. But a lot of them use Counterblast or use skills on the field, such as retiring their rear guard or adding rear guards to soul, forcing your opponent's rear guards to not stand. Either their grade 1 booster or their grade 2 or 3 front row guard, or rear guard, I should say, to force them to not be able to attack. Now, their worst matchups are probably going to be any Nova Grappler deck, because Nova Graps, as we all know, are crazy ridiculous when it comes to standing, especially Beast Deities. I hate Beast Deities. You can go fuck yourselves, you Nova Graps. Nova Grap players, I have nothing against you. I have something against the deck. So, anyway, moving on. The retiring skills are very situational. It's usually their boss monster, Giraffa, which is the deck I have, or the new promo that came out, the Machining Armor Beetle something or other. But that's essentially what the deck does. And a lot of them, the Megacolony kind of run themselves like a mafia. If you sort of read their lores, they kind of have a lot to do with, like, they are a crime syndicate, so they sort of runs themselves like an underground crime syndicate. They act like the mob. They literally steal whatever they want because they have no, they have no soul. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I'm trying to figure out what I'm trying to say, but it's whatever. You guys get it. And because they lack the ability to to gain support, the decks are very limited. So far, the best you can probably do are 3 different decks. One being the Giraffe Ride Chain, which is the one I have, and I will show you in a little bit. The third being the Master Beetle, which is your only limit breaker so far. Martial Arts Mutant Master Beetle, yes. And then there's the third one, which is getting more support in set 15, which is Machining. Now, sort of break down what they each do. Machining is revolving around Soul. They gain the effect of boosting themselves with power for every, or if there's a machining in their soul, such as Machining Mantis, as I look here. If it's called on Rearguard or Vanguard Circle, if you have a machining in your soul, it gains 3,000 for that turn, and that's a grade 2, so it becomes 12k for 1 turn. And in further support, they are now getting a Bedivere clone and a K clone in set 15, which means they have 2 different forms of 12k attackers for grade 2s and 10k attackers for grade 1s. So I find that kind of stupid. That's just like overpowered, whatever, but that's my opinion. Giraffe focuses on right chain. Excuse me. Grade 2 just forces your opponent to not stand a rear guard, and then the grade 3 is the one that forces to retire your opponent's rear guards when it hits. So, and then the basic is just a basic Master Beetle, and Giraffe kind of mixes a little bit with Master Beetle in terms of like deck design and whatever, but in terms of actual creativity, there really isn't much you can do with the deck. The deck has 2 stands, 2 crits, 1 draw, and 1 heal, and then when set 15 comes out, they get a new heal, they get a new draw, a new crit, and a new stand, and they're all going to be machining. So machining is definitely going to be a thing, and I don't like it. I want more generic support. That's what I always wanted when Vanguard came out, but no, we're going to do archetypes and shit like that. Anyway, I'm probably just rambling. I'm probably not even talking much about Megacolonies at all. I'm just probably just talking nonsense to you guys. This is only because, in case for you guys that don't know what Megacolony do, which I'm sure all of you do. And yeah, you know what? I think that's pretty much it in terms of what they do, in terms of like lore, background, deck designs and whatever. So I'm just going to get right into my personal deck profile and show you like just some of the basic strategies of what you can do with a Megacolony deck and how little support we have so far. So let me just move this camera here so that you guys can look down at my playmat. Okay, now here is my Megacolony deck. Like I said, I run the Giraffe Ride Chain. Now, this is the level 0, the Larva. When you ride the grade 1, search for your grade 2. It's just like the Shadow Paladins or the Block Kluger deck design, so not much to explain there. Triggers! 16 in a deck. I run 3 draws. I run 3 stands. I chose this one because I prefer this artwork over Kinkata, I think is how you pronounce it. I run 6 crit. I run 3 the Scorpion and 3 Beetle. Shit. So the trigger spread is 3, 3, 6, 4, since you can only run 4 heal triggers. Where's my 4th heal trigger? There it is. There it is. Alright, there. Those are the triggers. Now, a lot of people are probably going to go 4, 8, 4. 4 draws, 8 crit, 4 heals. Only because the deck is kind of, it tries to push for game a lot. But I like stands. Stands kind of gives it the surprise factor. A lot of people don't run stands anymore. But Megacolonies actually kind of benefit a little bit from the stand triggers, so you know what? I'm sticking with it. The deck runs perfectly fine with 3 draw triggers. I mean, I've been pretty close to deck out sometimes, but that's just because the game kind of stalls to a point where I'm like, crap, I can't get my triggers, what's going on? And my opponent isn't getting triggers. But anyway, moving on. because it's the ride chain. 4 of the pupa. If it's put on rear guard, you can discard a grade 3 to search for the grade 3 Giraffa version, and then you've already searched for the grade 2 because of the grade 0 version. 3 8K vanilla. And I run 3 because I run 1 of the Millipede, which is the 4K Vanguard booster. If all my opponent's rear guards are rested, it gains 4K. So the highest I'm hitting ever is 21 column. Then 2 Battler B. If it boosted a unit and it hit a Vanguard successfully, counterblast 1, choose a rear guard opponent's field, and it cannot stand. This behind Vanguard can actually be pretty funny. This behind a rear guard, this behind Toxic Trooper, which I'll get more into later, is actually really, really funny, and it's truly troll. It kind of forces your opponent to it's not over guard, but it forces them to use cards in their hand to guard or intercept, depending on what you rested the previous turn. But yeah, it's sort of a troll. Not really, because it's only 6K, but it's still good. 3 of the perfect guards, I only run 3. I've been able to manage perfectly fine with 3. I don't need the 4th. And 2 Karma Queen, and this is where I sort of mention where it's kind of counterblast heavy, because this one is counterblast 2, choose a rear guard, and it cannot stand for that till their end phase or whatever. So counterblast 2 for not having a unit stand is kind of heavy, but it's still pretty good because it forces them to either retire it to replace it with something in their hand, or just have it sit there, and you could just continue to not have it stand depending on what's in your hand. Those are grade 1s. Grade 2s. Only 1 of the grade 2 because you're constantly searching for it. People say, oh, you should run 2 just in case you get the 1 in your hand, and then you can just search 1 out later on. But with any of these ride chains, you're almost guaranteed this every time, so why run more than that? And then when it hits a Vanguard, choose a rear guard, it can't stand. That's all it does. No cost, no nothing. 2 Lady Bomb. It's the Karma Queen clone. Counterblast 2, choose a rear guard, it can't stand. You call this and Karma Queen in the same turn, that's kind of funny. It kind of forces your opponent to like cry a little bit. Next is 2 of the promo Machining Armor Beetle. This one is add one of your rear guards to soul, and then retire one of your opponent's your opponent's rear guard cannot stand. So like one way you can do it is call Karma Queen, call this, add Karma Queen to soul. Now you just targeted 2 of your opponent's rear guards, maybe even a column that cannot stand. And if it was a grade 2, they can still intercept with it, but if it's a grade 3, they cannot use that column anymore. 2 Toxic Trooper. This forces your opponent to not be able to intercept when it attacks. So you attack this with rear guard, they can't intercept, which means if they're arrested, they can't use it to intercept for an attack. So this plus Battler B, now you can target their back row to force things to not be able to stand, and then you just keep going on and on and on. The deck is meant to troll. It's not really, it can be competitive, but at the same time, it's not as strong as the decks now. You know what I'm trying to say? So it can still put up a decent fight. It's just they don't have a lot of good grade 2s at the moment, because a lot of them are just 9K or lower. Because the most power you're getting is right here. 4 Bloody Hercules, which is your 10K vanilla. And if you run Giraffa, you can run that grade 2 that if you have the grade 2 or 3 as Vanguard, it gains a 2,000 when it attacks to make it a 20K column at most, but that's still all the power you're ever going to get. So the deck lacks power. But it kind of makes up for it when your opponent can't use its power as well. But that was the grade 2s. Here are the grade 3s. 3 of the grade 3 Giraffa. It's Counterblast 2. If the attack hits, then retire 2 of yours, retire 2 of your opponents. So it's basically 2 for 2. And then you Counterblast 2, which is kind of still heavy, but only run 3. You don't really need 4, because you're going to search them anyway. I only have 2, but I've only ever really needed 2 Master Beetle. Its limit break is Counterblast 3, choose 2 of your opponent's rear guards, and they cannot stand till the end of the next turn. And then it has the same as Dragonic Overlord. If you have a non-Megacolony unit in rear guard, minus 2,000, so this is 11, it would become 9. And then last but not least is 2 Lady Butterfly, probably the most realistic Megacolony in terms of like humanoid status. I know they're supposed to be bugs. She's an insect, but at the same time she's human, so it's whatever. This one is if it attacks a Vanguard, gets plus 2k, so the highest you're hitting her is 20k. But that's the deck. I mean, there's not really much in terms of the imagination for a Megacolony deck to be run, or yeah, to how it can be run. Not until maybe set 15, until we get more support, which we do. So far, we have a Break Ride, like I mentioned. We get the Bedivere clone for machining. You get a K clone for machinings. You get a new machining grade 3 boss, which is pretty devastating depending on how you play it. Because with Break Ride, that can hit hard. Because so far with the language of the Break Ride, it forces your opponent's Vanguard to not stand during their stand phase, which means everything is rested. They can't even attack, which means they draw and their turn. Unless when you ride, it forces the Vanguard back to stand. But we'll find out when Bushy Road confirms exactly the wording for the rulings of the card. Anyway, that is Megacolonies in a nutshell. So, next time I do this, and hopefully it'll be soon, well, sooner than this one, I will be talking about the last clan in the Nation Breakdown for Zoo, which is Great Nature. And Great Nature is probably my second favorite behind Musketeers, which I showed you in my first video, which was Neonectars. In my personal preference, it would go, in terms of competitiveness, in my perspective, is Great Nature, Neonectar, and Megacolony. And in terms of how much fun I have with the deck, it goes Musketeers, and then it's a tie of Great Nature and Megacolony, because depending on how I feel, I can do a lot of shenanigans with both of the decks. But yeah, that is it. Hope you guys liked this video. Hope you guys look forward to the next one. If this was helpful, feel free to let me know. If it wasn't, then I'll probably stop doing this. I'm going to eventually do it for all the nations with the help of my friends, because they have decks of the other clans and whatnot, because that's way too much money. I don't own one deck of every clan in the entire card fight universe, because that's just ridiculous. But yeah, anyway, I'm sort of stalling, but Beautiful Inker Joe out. Remember, stay beautiful and keep calm and henshin a go-go, baby.